Hello everyone. Welcome to the new session of Thoughts on Education, where we interact with dignitaries from educational institutions and try to bridge the gap between students and colleges. So, in this session, we have Dr. A. Sridhar Raj, Associate Professor at IPE. He is a professor of Organizational Behavior and Human Resource Management. Sir has completed his PhD from Osmania University. He is involved in teaching, research, consultancy, and training activities. Also worked as consultant for Center for Good Governance. Welcome, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Suhas.
Sir, so let's start with the interview. Sir, being a professor at HR department, what are your roles and responsibilities towards students?
Suhas, for the benefit of the students, who intend to join PGDM or MBA program, I would like to say that, based on the experience at IPE, I can say that, the HR department people have a big role, a very big role, in honing the skills of the people. So when the students come to PGDM programs at IPE, we know that, some people have, some knowledge about the organizations, the corporate world, how things move. But there are many people who are not aware about those things. What we do is we groom them to the industry needs. Right from day one, we try to groom them. And also, what we do is we try to the organization. This will help them be more employable at the end of the PGDM course. Next, what we do is we also train them how to handle tasks in the organization, how to handle people, how to handle conflicts, how to grow up in the career ladder, and all these things will help them at the end of the day. And finally, now what we are doing is, since the organizations are speaking about holistic development of the people, we are doing the same thing. Now, before other organizations, before other B schools are doing, we are already in the path of ensuring that the students develop holistically. This will help them to lead a holistic life after probably 10-15 years, and they maintain their balance, they maintain their calm even in tough times also. That's what we do at IPE.
Yes, sir. Sir, how do you tend to establish healthy relations with students and fellow faculty?
Wow. That's a good question. If you ask me, it's a nice thing. It's a nice question. Who is a teacher? Teacher is the one, not the person who just teaches and vanishes from the classroom. It is not just we are not here just for the means of teaching. We are here to trigger the thought process of the students. Triggering a thought, particularly for PGDM student or MBA student. He or she should know what is management, what is corporate world, what is organization, how things move. So just by teaching from the slides, things will not work. Okay, we need to establish a relationship with the student first of all. In the very first class, whatever trimester we teach, we try to establish a personal rapport with the student. How do you do that? We have n number of ways and means. Unless you establish a relationship with the student will not be able to understand what we are teaching. The student will not be able to connect with the faculty. So the connect with the faculty is very important so that the student understands the nuances of the subject. Okay, so that's very, very important. So we have something called student-centric learning. Student-centric learning is very important. Why? Because the entire learning should be revolving around the student, not faculty-centric or institutional-centric. This will help the student to learn more. Next, long back, myself and my colleague wrote a paper on relational development in teaching. What is relational development? You establish some sort of relationship with the student, in the classroom, so that the student feels comfortable in the process of learning. That's very, very important. Then we encourage them to think, not just teach. We encourage them to think. What is thinking? Make their thought process open up. That's very important. Unless you open up your thought process, it's not just feeding at PGDM level, at MBA level, or at postgraduate level. It's not just feeding. The student should also think. How do you make them think? That's again a teaching technique we follow at IPE. Now, we have something called WhatsApp groups. So we have some students who want to, for example, HR WhatsApp group. So some students come together, they form a group, they ask questions, we answer them. Okay, they post some articles, article links, and we try to respond to them. In this way, teaching happens, teaching is a two-way process. I teach them, they learn, They also provide me a platform for learning. So in this symbiotic relationship of learning, the learning is much more enlarged. That's what happens.
True, sir. Sir, how do you strategize the curriculum and how often it gets updated to make it befitting for the students and as per the industry requirements?
Suhas, the industry requirement changes from time to time.
Yes.
Okay, from time to time. This is very important. No, you can't have the same syllabus, which was designed 20 years back or 30 years back. It doesn't work that way. Okay, at our level, IP stands in at a very high level, at a very high pedestal. The reason I'll tell you. We started in the year 1964. Okay, that was the time when not many IIMs were established. That's the beauty of IP. So we started as training institute, then consultancy, research, education. So we have multiple things on our platter, multiple things. So our faculty are involved in multiple things, training, research, consultancy. So what happens is when we go to a client organization, it can be public sector or private sector, we discuss n number of things. In the process of discussing what happens, we try to know the expectations of the industry. Okay, and these are the expectations of industry. This is what industry is looking for in the students. Okay, so we bring the same thing, and put the same thing in our syllabus and curriculum. That's one thing. Apart from that, what I do is at my personal level is I interact with n number of alumni. Okay, I was teaching from the year 2006 and 7 at IPE. Before that, I was also teaching. Then what I want you to understand is I interact with alumni. So they come out with various things which they want me to include in the syllabus. That is one. Sometimes what they do is they discuss the case study. Sir, this is my problem. This is my organization. This is the problem which I am facing. So what can you do about it? So what I do is all these things are turned into curriculum. They become part of the curriculum. So somebody says this is the thing which needs to be included in HRM. So what we do, we bring that same topic, the same component HRM and include it. So that's how we constantly do it. And apart from that, we have board of studies and academic advisory committee. That's a routine thing. But apart from that, we also do these many things so that the syllabus and the curriculum remains updated from time to time. Okay, this helps the students ultimately. For example, somebody suggested me to include design thinking. So we have a full-fledged paper on design thinking. Somebody asked me to include a case study, which I have designed it and is now the part of HRM paper. Okay. Yeah.
Sir, how do you help students to cope up with the competition being so high in the outside world?
Wow, that's a good question. Competition is everywhere, Suhas. If you want to get into bus, competition is there. If you go to market, the competition is there. The competition is everywhere. Okay, you just can't get rid of competition. So for a PhD or MBA student or PG student, he or she should not think about competition. Forget about competition. Okay, so I found that there are 3 C's which are very important for any PhD student. 1, competency. Competency is the task which we can do it very easily. Okay, the moment you give it, like Virat Kohli does it with batting, right? So what I want you to understand is competency. The ease with which you complete the job is called competency, right? What I do sometimes I tell you, I sit with my friends who are into recruiting industry, okay? Then see how they conduct interviews. Sometimes I tell them this is not the way, So what I say is I bring the same thing to my student. So I want them to enhance their competency levels first. Next, the corporate world looks for communication skills, excellent communication skills. Many organizations have, the English test to get into the organization. And there are many organizations in Hyderabad or all over India which test English for promotion. Oh my God. So what I want the students to learn is communication skills, excellent communication skills, presentation skills. Okay. Next, confidence. Okay. So competency, communication skills, confidence. These 3 things will enable students to, overcome any type of competition. I'm telling you, you take any school, any institute or any, great one. That's what I believe. So what we do at IP is simple. We have good programs about mentoring. We have initiated a program called mentoring. Mentoring is all about establishing a connect with the student. Connect with the student where faculty members are allocated a few students, 10 to 15 students. We groom them. We have a personal touch. So then we'll be able to know based on the CV, this student is, the profile of this student is this, the USP is this. Then accordingly, we groom students at the level of competency, communication, and confidence. We have different papers to address these things. For example, personality development. We have specific course on personality development. Okay. Then communication skills. We have communication skills lab, English lab. So these things will help the student. Okay. And we constantly, probably tell the students that, this triangle of competency, communication, confidence will help you in the long run. Okay. And also get placed. So this is how, once we develop these things, whatever be the competition, it's like, once you know the batting, how to bat, how to hit the ball, whoever is the bowler, whatever be the pitch, you can play cricket. Okay.
Yes.
The same thing with the cricket also.
Yes, true. Sir, in the current scenario, how did you, what was the impact of the COVID on the faculty, course, and students, and how are there any new implementations which were done to help students to keep the learning intact?
Wow, correct. So during pandemic, pandemic has made the world upside down. There is a complete shift from offline to online. And to tell you the truth, in fact, the faculty members have become the students. How? How means it's simple. They started learning online classes. Okay? They started delivering online classes, which they have never done or which they have rarely done. I still remember I've taken an online class maybe 10 years back for students for a training program at an all India level, sitting in one chair. Okay. So now everybody is doing the same thing. So more than the students, it was learning for the faculty members. Okay. And it is like this. In an offline classroom, the engagement levels are different. Now, how do you engage the same set of students in the online classroom? So now the faculty members or we have tried to come out with new solutions. How to engage the students in an online classroom? We try to, what we do is we try to ask questions. We try to ask a student to give a synopsis of yesterday's class. Okay, so Sushma, what was the thing which we discussed yesterday? Can you elaborate? So once the student elaborates, we ask one more student, to again elaborate what Sushma has said. Okay, this is one more thing. Next, what were the innovations which we have done? What are the innovations? We tried to show some videos. We tried to show some good videos, not just PPTs. At the same time, we started using more physical gestures, the way I'm doing now, so that the student gets interested. Right? At the end of the classroom, one student would sum up the entire thing. Another student would sum up the entire thing. That's how we try to engage with the student, get on to new things. And, we are to a large extent, I'm telling you, successful. We have received, in fact, I have received a message wherein somebody said, sir, the online classes were very good. So we can take the credit if you ask me. Okay.
Sir, when you came to IPE, what was your vision and how are you trying to achieve the same? And
wow, when I came to IPE, my vision, as I said, was to groom the students to the corporate world. What happens in the corporate world, they should know in the classroom, by sitting in the classroom. And it's possible. It's possible through case studies. It's possible through role plays. Okay, it's possible by showing them some good videos. That's what I used to do. And to a large extent, you can say that, I'm successful in that vision. Okay, since I told you that IPE is one organization where every faculty member is into consulting, training, research, and teaching. That's the best advantage. That's advantage. So we conduct classes outside IPE also for people who are at very higher level in the organizations. Okay, I'm the joint coordinator of training programs at IPE. Have taken classes online and offline, I'm telling you. Okay, for industry captains, for even academic people also have taken classes for various universities. So I came with that vision that I should groom the students, and I've been grooming. I even today groom. Okay, as I told you just now, I sit with my friends who are working in MNCs, who are conducting online interviews. I listen to them, what they speak, what the other person responds. So I bring them to the student and tell them this is what the industry expects. Okay, now this is called grooming. This is called grooming. Now, over a period of time, I understood that it is not just grooming for employability. Grooming for employability is one dimension, but grooming for life, grooming for the student to handle crisis in life, failures in life, advancements in life. No, it is not just job, right? It is not just job for a student. So after 2 years, he'll have his personal life, professional life, n number of things. How do you handle crisis in that life? So I've seen some students coming back to me and saying, sir, this is my problem in the organization. How do I handle it? So then I thought, okay, students have problem once they join organizations also. So then I started focusing on holistic development, not just employability of the student, but holistic development of the student. Okay, holistic development is physiological, psychological, emotional also. How do you make a student emotionally strong? We have a paper on emotional intelligence, positive psychology. We have something on mindfulness. I'm definitely sure, Suhas, you take it from me granted. It's hardly 1 or 2 institutes in India, okay, or maybe 2 or 3 max, which are teaching mindfulness as a part of their curriculum, which IP is doing. IP is doing that, something on mindfulness. I teach mindfulness as a part of a paper on emotional intelligence, which I'm definitely sure many institutes will not do or are not doing, even at the top level. Okay, so my vision has changed from just employability to holistic development.
Yes, sir. Sir, lastly, what valuable advice would you like to give the students for them to have a prosperous career ahead?
Good. So, Suhas, as I told you, I've been involved in IP with n number of hundreds and hundreds of students. So, my advice to students who are pursuing PhD or MBA or PG is, I found one thing, Suhas. I'm connected with many students on Facebook also. Yesterday, somebody said, their student, a student from PGTM HRM, who wanted me to write a recommendation letter. There are many students who come back to me and ask, sir, I need one letter of recommendation because I want to pursue higher education in the US. So I interact with n number of students because my policy is have open door policy for the students. Don't close the door. Okay. So let everybody come and take the best out of your experience. I found one thing. Every student is talented. Okay. I'm repeating it once again for the benefit of every student. Every student, irrespective of the background, irrespective of the location, irrespective of the college which he has studied, okay, everybody is talented in one way or the other. Okay, I've seen students from Bengal, I've seen students from Rajasthan, I've seen students from Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and after 2 to 3 years, when they join or when they come back, for some reason or other, I find a lot of change. Hey, how is it possible? A silent student sitting in the classroom becomes amazing. So what I'm saying is, there is talent in every student. There's talent in every student. The role of the student, the advice which I give to the student is, identify that talent. Okay, it might be only one talent. It might be just one talent, one small thing. I'll tell you one example also. Somebody told me, sir, I'm working in this MNC just because of one quality which I have, one skill which I have learned. I asked him curiously, hey, what is that, boss? He said, sir, I'm excellent in Excel. How is that? Yes, I've learned Excel to such an extent that, even many of my managers don't know to the extent which I know. You see, that Excel skill, enough, is making him not just survive and thrive, just survive, thrive, grow. So, friends, I'm telling you, everybody who is watching the video or who wants to watch video, who would watch video in the future, every student is talented. Even you are talented, I'm telling you. So, if you can identify that, talent, that skill which you have, that USP, you grow and grow and grow. Okay, that is one. Second advice which I give is, never stop learning. Okay, keep learning something from everything, from everybody. Okay, whomever comes, into your life, for a brief time also, they'll teach you something or the other. That's the beauty of learning. You should be like a sponge. What is the quality of a sponge? The quality of sponge is to, it absorbs water from every direction. So you should learn from every direction, everybody, every event, every instance, every story, every movie, every newspaper. Okay? If we can do that, we will always grow. Okay? Not for the sake of employability, but for the sake of holistic development of yourself. That is, these two things I want to, tell the students to us. One, you have talent. Identify that talent. Two, keep learning. You'll grow.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. I'm sure viewers and students will have many takeaways and received valuable insights about IPE. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Thank you. Have a nice time.